Dan Gjeldum, Guaranteed Rate. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me again. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's get into kind of an ugly topic. The National Association of Realtors lawsuit, right? It's been all over the news. If you haven't heard about it, you're probably hiding under the rock. It's been something that we have tried to give as much attention to and discussion on as possible. Has there been any impact on your industry or anything that you're seeing or expecting different?
It's a good question. So number one, NARS had this happen. We had this happen too. We had back in, it had to be like 08 or 09, somewhere after the financial, or is that a couple years after the financial crisis? We were the target for a lot of the stuff that went bad, right? So they came after loan officers, how we were paid, how mortgage companies, charge consumers, things like that. So what it did was it invoked more disclosures, it invoked more, just openness about everything. And it really, discussions completely. And yes, it did, change the way my world works and from an income perspective, but it didn't change the fact that we still write a lot of loans. Right. We still close mortgages for people. In the NAR world, yeah, it's a learning experience, and we still don't know how it's going to impact our world yet because it is so new. Because there's, if we're going to include buyer side commission in our closing costs, like how that's going to work. But I know one thing, homes are going to get sold and people are still going to be taken care of by the best of the best. And that's the same in our world. When our rules changed, it eliminated a lot of the bottom feeders. And this NAR settlement was essentially the way I know it. It's brought up by people getting screwed over.
Yeah.
And the people who are at the top, like you and a lot of other people in this world who are at the top of their game, there is no screwing people over. It's full disclosure all the time. And that's just, it's going to allow your industry to serve consumers better because everybody's going to feel more comfortable and they're going to get a sense of what people actually do for them.
No, and I think that bringing to light and reminding us of what happened to the lending world and the mortgage world post the housing crisis, right? That your structure kind of collapsed, right? It was one of the worst.
We had no idea what was happening for a while.
One of the worst markets we went through, and that there was all of these new regulations, new pieces put into place to protect the consumers, to create transparency, to change the kind of what was happening behind the scenes. But it didn't change the way that you worked with people. Right. It didn't change, and I think that that's important to know because now you kind of feel like, gosh, that was so long ago. I barely remember that as a blip in the radar. That's essentially a lot of what's happening on our side of the world now is saying, hey, we want to improve the systems, make them better for people. You're right. I have no concern about this because we were doing all this stuff correctly before and we're going to continue to doing it correctly after. But yeah, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are a little nervous about things moving forward.
If you remember appraisals changed, right? There's a thing called the AIR, the Appraisal Independence Rule.
Yep.
Well, we used to be able to say, hey, Amanda, I have a deal at 123 Main Street. I need you to do the appraisal tomorrow. That's not how it works anymore.
Nope.
The process still works. It can be, we have a deal right now where people are confused because the appraisal wasn't moving as quickly as they hoped it to be. It's because I can't call anybody directly anymore. We have to place it and, then someone orders it, blah, 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 right? But that changed too after the crisis because there were a lot of bad apple appraisers out there, right? So this is just kind of buttoning up all sides, right? We saw title industry, had some changes too. So the fact that this is all happening is a good thing for the consumer, and how it all shakes out is just going to make everybody more stable.
Sure. No, I agree with you 100% on that. I see no real adversity in it. I think it's something that's just going to improve our industry and improve what we do and how we do it and just hold everybody accountable, which I'm all for. Let's do it.
Yeah. And I will tell you that I have not had one agent that I work with call me freaking out about it.
Yeah.
Because it's not the people, that are worried about this.
Every industry has its bottom tier. And we've already said in the real estate industry, so much of the business is done by a small group of people. Those aren't the people that are worried because these are the people that have been doing great business all along.